Hello friends, welcome to Ekam IAS Academy. So good evening to all of you. In today's video we are going to discuss about Gender Studies Paper 2 Mains Analysis, which is related to UPSC CSC 2024. So in this paper we mainly divide the entire paper into different sections, okay, according to syllabus wise, and we will discuss the weightage of the each and every part. After that we will further discuss about each and every question, students. Okay, first, you all know that in Gender Studies Paper 2, we have the various dimensions such as first, that is Indian polity and constitution, and the second one is regarding the governance and social justice, and third one is international relations. Regarding the Indian polity and constitution, regarding that, from that around 125 marks came, okay, the marks weightage. Let me explain the marks weightage as well, okay. And from the governance and social justice, around 50 marks, 75 marks, and from international relations, around 50 marks of the weightage is there, okay. From Indian polity and constitution, regarding the Indian polity and constitution, if you look at this in detail, first let us see, from polity and constitution, around out of 125 marks, 10 marker questions are 5, and 15 marker questions are 5, overall 125. And from governance and social justice, 75, okay, 10 markers are 3, and 15 markers are 3. Whereas IR, international relations, 50 marks, okay, out of that 10 markers are 2 and 15 markers are 2. So this is the 50 marks. So 125 marks, polity and constitution, governance and social justice 75, and international relations 15. Altogether, so 250. Out of that, if you are with PSAR optional, obviously polity and IR straight away 175 marks straight away from PSAR out of 250, and remaining governance and social justice also some couple of questions are indirectly related. That means obviously, so you are going to have a great advantage if you are with the political science and international relations option. Of course, in essay paper also there are some ideas related to some of the political thinkers that we will discuss about, like in PSAR optional and the advantages of PSAR optional. I will explain over there. Now in this video, first we'll see the total number of questions. So we will go through each and every questions, and we will try to look at the questions, and we will try to observe our initial impressions. The question number 1. Examine the need for the electoral reforms as suggested by various committees with particular reference to one nation, one election principle. This question is regarding the electoral reforms in general, and in particularly one nation, one election principle. In this question we have to include various committees recommendations. I explained you at various point of times that recommendations of second ARC, recommendation of Niti Aayog committee, and observations of the first law commission, the law commission, and the various ARC reports. So those things we will discuss, and Ramnath Kovind committee recommendations, and recent cabinet approval regarding the one nation, one election. And of course you can also include some pros and cons of the one nation, one election. This is the question number 1. So you have to include. This question is from the Indian polity. Next, question number 2 is about explain and distinguish between Lok Adalat and arbitration tribunal, whether they entertain civil as well as criminal cases. This is regarding the alternative dispute resolution. I explained in polity classes about Lok Adalats and the arbitration tribunals. Arbitration tribunals are generally related to the commercial disputes. Lok Adalats are generally related to the civil and criminal cases. So first we have to introduce the concept of alternative dispute resolution. Then we have to introduce and explain Lok Adalat and arbitration tribunals, and what are some of the advantages and challenges related to the Lok Adalat and arbitration tribunal. So this question is also related to Indian polity. Next question number third one. The growth of cabinet system has practically resulted in the marginalization of the parliamentary supremacy. Elucidate. This is about how the cabinet is dominating the parliamentary supremacy. So for example, first we have to write what is the cabinet. Cabinet is also one element of the council of ministers, and you know that in the original constitution there is no word called cabinet. Then we used to have only parliamentary form of government, council of ministers. Then in the recent past, cabinet is setting the agenda of the parliamentary meetings. Cabinet is setting the agenda of introduction of the bills and everything. And sometimes by postponing the parliament meetings, even cabinet is suggesting ordinance to the president as well. So in this way, cabinet is obviously undermining the parliament powers. Okay, that information you have to write here. This question is exclusively from the relationship between the legislature and executive, the horizontal relation. I am not talking about the vertical relations. Next, question number 4. The duty of CAG is not merely to ensure the legality of expenditure, but also its propriety. This is about whether this role of the CAG. First, we have to introduce the CAG and the constitutional obligation of the CAG. Then we have to know that the recent recent role of the CAG, especially in unearthing some of the public scams. Then we have to write about how the CAG reports will be laid out, who will examine, and some of the challenges faced by the CAG reports, especially because CAG reports are all about the post-mortem reports. They are not about the money spent, okay, before the money is spent. The audits are all about so after the money been spent, then the audit will be done, post-mortem audit. So that is about the question number 4 and the role of CAG. Question number 5. Analyze the role of local bodies in providing the good governance at local level. This is about how the local bodies will help in the good governance. So there we have to introduce what is a local government. In the original constitution, we are having only 2 levels governments. Okay, for example, union government and state government. Then we added the local government through 73rd, 74th Amendment. Then we have to know the significance or advantages of the local government, like democratic accountability and decentralization. Apart from that, inclusiveness, more women participation, that positive things we have to include. Then bring out the pros and cons, merging the rural local bodies with the urban local bodies. This is about, that nowadays, as some of the cities are expanding, they are merging the that neighborhood local bodies into the urban bodies. Okay, like for example, when Hyderabad is expanding in the form of HMDA, Hyderabad Metro Development Authority. So the nearby rural bodies, they merged into the HMDA. So here this process includes some pros as well as some cons. We have to write both pros and cons. We will discuss in detail in the coming days. Next, question number 7. This is from governance. Public charitable trusts have the potential to make India development more inclusive. So they are saying that charitable trust, that this comes under the broad idea of the civil service organizations. Okay, so for example, NGOs, trust, okay, and what kind of role public charitable trusts are playing and how they are making India development more inclusive. So we have to substantiate our answer that how they are making our development more inclusive in nature. Then, and what are the issues they are facing? Of course, they are facing issues such as manpower, sometimes lack of cooperation from government, some funding issues. These are some of the issues they are facing. We have to enumerate those issues. Next, question number 7. Poverty and malnutrition create vicious cycle, adversely affecting the human capital formation. What steps can be taken to break the cycle? Social justice. This is about how the poverty and malnutrition affecting the human capital formation, that is how it is impacting the demographic dividend. First, here we have to introduce the concept of what is poverty, what is malnutrition, and how it is affecting the human growth, like especially lack of proper growth, stunting, wasting, these kind of things, and what kind of steps taken to break the cycle means obviously, for example, so Poshan Abhiyan. Recently, Poshan Abhiyan Tracker, it got the best, it got the golden award as well as the best app which tracks the nutrition supply of the children. And we have to include other things, like what are the various initiatives from the government of India, like Pradhan Mantri Matritva Vandana Yojana, that is about support to the lactating and pregnant women, like that. Next, question number 8. The doctrine of democratic governance makes it necessary that public perception of the integrity and commitment of civil servants become absolutely positive. This is about governance again, like the perception about the public servant. That means the perception regarding public servant integrity and public servant commitment. These two things are looking by the people. So public servant, he has to maintain a good integrity and good commitment, especially in the light of the Pooja Ketkar issue. Okay, if people come across such kind of public servants without any integrity and commitment, then obviously people perception towards the public servants will become negative. So here you have to introduce the concept of what is the doctrine of democratic governance. In democratic governance, obviously the people perception, what is integrity and the commitment of the civil servant, and how it will impact the public perception on the civil servants. Those points we have to include here. This is question from the area of governance and the question number 8. Next, we'll see the question number 9, students. We'll see question number 9. Question number 9 is related to IR, international relations. Here, the question they given, the West is fostering India as an alternative to reduce dependence on China's supply chain. So here, the first statement, the keyword is they strengthening India. Who are strengthening India? West. Against whom? Against China as an alternative. Alternatives. As an alternative to reduce what? To reduce dependence on China regarding the supply chain as strategic point of view. Regarding this, okay, explain this particular statement, of course. Okay, here first we have to understand mainly Western nations, they are using India to counter China in which region? In the region of Asia Pacific. So first we have to write that the significance of the Asia Pacific region and various initiatives such as Quad, okay, and Malabar Navy exercise. And of course, we have to include economic initiatives such as Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, IPEF, we have to include. Apart from that, the America upgraded India relations to the major strategic partner. That is also one significant thing. And even their foreign policy related to Asia Pacific, even they changed that to Indo-Pacific as well. So, and even they are using India as a pivot to control the China as well. So these are some of the ways how the Western countries are looking towards India to counter the China. Okay. Next, even you can also include they are supporting India's membership in the UN Security Council as well. India's permanent membership in the UN Security Council. That one also we have to add here. That is about question number 9. Next, question number 10. Critically analyze India's evolving diplomatic, economic and strategic relation with the Central Asian republics, highlighting their increasing significance in the regional and global geopolitics. Here you have to introduce what is Central Asian Republic, okay, region, and which countries are present in the Central Asian Republic. And so in the recent past, what is the interaction between the India and Central Asian Republic region? For example, ASHOKNAGAR Agreement. And we have to also include about the growing role of the SCO, and you have to write some information regarding the SCO and International North-South Transport Corridor, how it is, how the Central Asia is helping out. And in the recent past also, India Middle East, okay, economic corridor. In that aspect as well, somehow this Central Asian, Middle East countries are useful, but of course the role of Central Asia also we can write. And countries like Turkmenistan, they are very good with the reserves of the natural gas. Regarding that Tapi gas pipeline also we can include. And in setting up the peace in Afghanistan also, the Central Asian countries are playing very important role. That is about question number 10. Next, question number 11. What are the aims and objectives of recently passed the Public Examination Act 2024? This act, okay, this act is about controlling the malpractice and paper leakage and organized paper leakage. Regarding that, this act was been introduced, and we all know that especially in the light of the NEET as well as the NET exam controversy, at that point of time government decided to implement this act. So here we have to introduce some of the salient features of this act. This question is too narrow, okay, unless until you know some of the provisions in general, you know, like the penalties up to 1 crore, okay, did you remember that? Okay, so regarding these provisions you have to remember, and which organization covered under this, whether the University Education Board examination, whether they will be covered or not, you have to check. Generally this act covers the public service examinations and the staff selection commission examinations and RRB examination, SSB examinations, okay, that is defense examination generally, and national technical eligibility, national entrance exams, you know, like some technical exams like NEET, those exams also will be covered. Whether the university exams will be covered or not, okay, you have to check and answer below this video. Next, question number 12. Right to privacy. This question is a main emphasis on the fundamental rights. Right to privacy is intrinsic to life and personal liberty, of course. So here you have to introduce the right to privacy and the Supreme Court observations on the right to privacy and significance of the right to privacy. In this reference, discuss the law relating to DNA testing of child in the home to establish the paternity. Here you have to write from how many weeks the child will start getting the individual rights. Generally, you will get in the context of abortion rights. There in surrogacy, you know that court generally don't allow the automatic abortion after 24 weeks. The logic behind this is after 24 weeks, generally, so according to scientific advancement on and all these things, we can make sure the fetus survive after 24 weeks without the mother help as well. That means the fetus in the womb, it gets its individual identity after 24 weeks. In this context, obviously, after 24 weeks, the personal liberty and personal life, okay, the personal right to life and liberty will be assumed to that fetus, so that we have to include here. Next, question number 14. Explain the reasons for the growth of public interest litigation. Pill, I told you that if you directly involved with a particular litigation, then we can call it as locus standi. Otherwise, if you don't have direct relation with a particular litigation, then if you go to the court, that is known as public interest litigation. Public interest litigation is all about going to the court and filing a case on the best interest of the people. That is known as public interest litigation. Nowadays, public interest litigations are increasing. I told you that public interest litigation is nothing but it's a part of the judicial activism. As more number of the pills are increasing, the court activity is becoming increasing. Obviously, as a court activity is increasing means, so they are saying that Indian Supreme Court emerged as a world's most powerful judiciary. It becoming world's most powerful judiciary. That is what is happening, especially due to the judicial activism. Okay, that we have to write, and how pill is encouraging the judicial activism. And of course, even though Supreme Court is having these kind of instruments, still Supreme Court is restraining from like judicial overreach as well. That is also worth to mention here. Next, question number 15. Discuss India as a secular state and compare with the secular principles of US Constitution. Here, this is about the comparison of Indian Constitution with the US Constitution and especially the principles of secularism. Here we have to mention that India follow the positive secularism, where state involves in the religion in the best interest of the religion, whereas the America follows the negative secularism, where state, there is an absolute separation between the state as well as the religion. That we have to cover further details. That is about the question number 15. Okay, question number 15, students. Even we discussed about all majority of these questions in our PSAR sessions, and if anyone is interested to know about the PSAR optional, you can contact the office number, Ekam IAS website. In that you will have the number. You can contact the number, and they will give all the further information regarding the political science optional. And first call to the number. If in case if you did not get the response, put a comment section in this video. Definitely will reach you back. Okay. Next, question number 16. Question number 16. This is about the citizen charter related to governance. So they are giving they given the question that the citizen charter has a landmark initiative in ensuring the citizen-centric administration. So first sentence they given about the citizen charter and the role in the citizen-centric administration, but it is yet to reach its full potential. That means they are saying that citizen charter is important, but citizen charter is unable to reach to its fullest level of potential. Identify the factors hindering the realization of its promise and suggest a measure to overcome them. That means what are the challenges in the citizen charter implementation and how you can overcome those challenges and how you can better implement the citizen charter. That is about question number 16. Next, question number 17. In a crucial domain like public healthcare system of the Indian state should play a vital role to contain the adverse impact of the marketization of the system. In PSAR, we discussed about liberalism concept. In liberalism, because of the privatization, because of the state minimal role, the health is also neglected. Whereas in the socialism, state more active involvement is expecting. So in the same way here also the question is asking that state involvement in the public healthcare must be there. Suggest some measures through which state can enhance the reach of the public healthcare at the grassroots level. How the state can increase the grassroots level healthcare, how the state will improve especially in the primary health centers and the community health centers, how the state involvement can be improved. That we have to write here. That is social justice. This question is from the social justice. Next, question number 18. E-governance is not just about the routine application of the digital technology in service delivery process. So e-governance is not just about the using of technology. It is much about the multifarious interaction. Like e-governance will not only using of technology, but also it improves the transparency and accountability. Here we have to write about how the e-governance is improving the accountability as well as the transparency. In this context, evaluate the role of the interactive service model of the e-governance. That means how the e-governance will improve the interaction between the state as well as the people, how it is ensuring the accountability as well as the transparency. These are the areas we have to focus in this particular question. Next, question number 19. Terrorism has become a significant threat to global peace and security. Of course, it is undeniable fact. You know that most of the experts are saying that climate change and terrorism, these are the two major threats now the world is facing. Evaluate the effectiveness of the United Nations Security Council Counter-Terrorism Committee. They're specifically asking about this committee role. If you know, that's okay. Otherwise, at least you have to write about how the UN identifies certain individuals as global terrorists, and through that, how they can take action on some countries. That also you can include here. And how the associate organization of the UN, they are playing their role in addressing and mitigating the threat at the international level. So even you can also include this FATF as well, Financial Action Task Force role also you can include here. Next, question number 20. Discuss the geopolitical and geostrategic importance of Maldives. In the recent past, we had certain conflict with the Maldives. There you have to focus on how the importance of the Maldives regarding the global trade, because Maldives present in the international global trade. In that line it is there, Maldives, you know that, especially the 10-degree channel and 11-degree channel over there. Further, discuss how the relationship with Maldives will affect the India's maritime security. You know that Colombo Security Conclave, that you have to write here, and how it will affect the regional stability as well. And how in the recent past again, India tried to normalize relation with Maldives. You know that we offer training to the Maldivian civil service aspirants, civil servants as well. Apart from that, even we are carrying the developmental projects in Maldives also. This is about the question number 20. Like I said earlier, so out of the, 250, almost 100%, 175 questions, they came from the just polity and IR. Rest of the governance and social justice also, those questions also, some of them indirectly related to the polity, and some of them related to political science. So this is the undeniable role of the political science and international relations in the GS paper 2. If you know further details regarding the PSAR, feel free to contact to the Ekam IAS main office, or else you can contact me as well. So this is about the initial impression regarding the GS paper 2 UPSC CSC Maths 2024. Thanks for your time and energy. Have a great day. Jai Hind.